Hey guys, just wanted to share another good recipe that is one of the favorites for our family, and that is sweet and sour venison meatballs. So it's a pretty simple recipe. I'm going to make a pretty fast video so you can see, kind of break it up in a couple of parts. We're going to start with, you need a pound, I use 1.5 pounds of venison that's already ground, right, and thawed out, nice and soft. You need a 1.5 beaten egg. All right, we're going to add to that. You're going to need ground ginger, garlic powder, of course some salt, and freshly ground pepper. That's just to kind of start. In addition to that, you're going to need some carrots, okay, a 20-ounce can of pineapple chunks, soy sauce and white vinegar, a small onion, some peppers, you can see, a wee little bit of cornstarch, a little bit of brown sugar, and then to top it off, you're going to need a good bit of actual rice. So I'm going to break this out into a couple short segments as we start to assemble everything together, and you can see how we put it all together. All right, so starting with actually making the meatballs, right? We have our 1.5 pounds of ground venison. To that, we're adding 1.5 beaten egg. All right. Then we're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. Fan that out across the meat so you have less mixing to do. It's 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon, excuse me, of the salt we talked about. And then we're gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. All right, and 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Sorry, I'm blocking the camera. Just those few pretty simple ingredients, which you probably have around the house. Again, a great way to use up some of the deer meat that you have to make room in the freezer for next season. I find to do, sadly, most of my cooking in the off season, because when it's actual season, I'm out there trying to get more. All right, there's 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. So here's what it looks like. We're gonna mix it around. Get all those ingredients mixed in there real well. And then once that's all good and mixed, I'm probably gonna go to hand mixing here in a second. We're going to actually make little teeny meatballs, probably 30 or 40 of them. And then we will set those aside to kind of chill in the fridge here in a minute. Okay, so we have the deer meat chilling with all the ingredients that we've added. We'll form that into a small, probably 1-inch ball, somewhere around maybe 30. We'll see how many we can get. Maybe we can get 40. But next we're going to start working on the actual sauce. So what I've done is I've got a 1 cup measure. I've gone ahead and drained most of the juice here, as you can see, out of the pineapple chunks. Oops, got a couple that's jumped out on me there. And you're looking to get a cup. Okay, this is very close, as you can see even in the video. So I'm just going to add to that a wee little bit of cold water to bring it up to 1 cup. I'm looking for a cup. Okay, and we're going to dump that in the bowl. All right, we'll set that aside. Okay, where is my soy sauce? Oh, sorry. Next, we're going to look for our white vinegar. And so to this, we need to add a 1/4 cup. So we're gonna go here to a 1/4. Oops, the wrong side. There we go. 1/4 cup of white vinegar. I'm gonna add that to the pineapple juice. Okay, now we're ready for the soy sauce. 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Here we go. It's always fun adding this because it doesn't really come out so hot. 3 tablespoons. There we go, we got 1. 2. And 3. Okay. And the brown sugar. Looking for 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. We'll add to that mix. Again, this is making our sauce. You want to get nice packed teaspoon so it gets in there nice and solid. And just a little bit extra because we like the barbecue. Okay. And now we're going to mix that up real good, and that's going to make our sauce. It's got obviously going to get a little bit thicker. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm sorry. Forgot. We have to add another teaspoon of ground ginger as well. Goes into this. Don't think that's gonna fit in there. Here we go. Okay. And we'll stir that around here. Okay, so here's the sauce we just mixed up. I'm gonna stir all this around, trying to break up the ingredients that are powder and dry. Mix it in with the pineapple juice, the soy sauce, the vinegar. You can see that's a nice color. Doesn't really get too thick yet. And we're gonna set this aside and come back to this here shortly. Oh, it smells really good. All right, so before preparing the vegetables, the next thing we're gonna do is mix the pineapple chunks and the cornstarch in yet another bowl. Sorry, you're gonna dirty some bowls, but here's our 20-ounce can of pineapple chunks. Gonna go ahead and get this entered in here. Okay, and then you need a teaspoon and a tablespoon of cornstarch that you're gonna add to this. So in goes our teaspoon. Ugh, what a mess. And in goes our tablespoon. And we'll mix that around lightly here. And then we're gonna put those aside while we prep our veggies. Once you got this cornstarch and the pineapples mixed up, kind of coats them with, it's not really a sauce, but this kind of makes them a little bit thicker. We're gonna cook those in a bit. Okay, so now we're gonna prepare the actual vegetables. So we got carrots, we have a very small onion, and we have a cored out green pepper. So we're gonna cut this into strips about 1/4 inch thick. Right, slice that, throw it into the into the bowl to use later. We're gonna cut the carrots kind of crosswise. I'll show you like this. Because you're kind of looking to get chunks about like that, right? You don't have to cut them at a 45, but they just kind of look nicer that way. And, you know, they call for maybe 2 or 3 carrots. I just have some baby carrots, so I'm gonna cut these up, again, at angles. So I got small pieces that will like cook down and condense nice. Okay, we're gonna cut the pepper and the onion just the same, and then we're gonna mix all this together. Okay, so we've added the onion, and now to cut up the green pepper. Last time to go. Veggies are ready. Cut onion, angular cut carrots, and about a 1/4 inch cut, roughly. Nobody's using a measure stick here on a green onion. Green pepper, jeez. So we'll set these to the side and we're gonna add these to the mix in a little bit. The other thing we're gonna do is actually get 6 cups of whatever rice you prefer. Now I normally like wild rice, sometimes brown rice. For this, we went ahead and got white rice. That's mainly what my kids like. So I'm gonna be actually preparing 6 cups of white rice for this in a little bit. I'm probably gonna do that in my Instapot because it's the fastest way to cook rice, but that's pretty straightforward. I think everybody knows how to cook rice. So we'll show you once we start going back in and cooking the meatballs, how we add each of the ingredients and the sauce into the pan, and what it looks like in the end here in just a little bit. Okay, so now we're getting ready to put all this stuff together to make these sweet and sour venison meatballs. So heating up my skillet, I've got my sauce here ready. I've got my pineapple chunks ready and my meatballs ready. So here's the pineapples. Here's the sauce for shortly. And I went ahead and made the meatballs. So we're heating up our skillet, getting it good and warm. And we're gonna add a little bit of oil into it so that we can start cooking the meatballs. I'm just trying to gingerly add these into the skillet. And get these cooked well through. Okay, so we got them simmering. We'll use the tongs, kind of rotate them around a little bit. And it'll probably take 5 or 7 minutes to get them nice and brown all the way around. You see after a few minutes, they're starting to get done on one side. So just want to kind of keep taking them and rotating them over so we get all the sides nice and evenly cooked. Okay, these are pretty much getting there. Both sides are looking good and brown. Got a few more to rotate. And then we're gonna add our mixture of onions and carrots. And we're gonna add our sauce. That's what's gonna go in next. And we're gonna cut the heat down to about half. Cover it with some aluminum foil and let it simmer on low for about 15 minutes. Okay, so now the meatballs are pretty much done. And we're going to add our sauce to the mix. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to bring this to a boil and add the carrots and the onions. Get this to a boil, then reduce the heat. And then we're going to let it simmer about 15 minutes or so on low heat so that the vegetables get tender. Okay, so we got a slow simmer here going. So we're going to get some aluminum foil. Go ahead and cover this. Let it vent lightly. Let it simmer for about 15 minutes till those vegetables get soft. And then we'll also probably stir occasionally. Okay, looking pretty good. Onions look good. Carrots are still a little firm, but we're gonna cook a little more. So now, we're gonna go ahead and add pineapple chunks in here. I'm gonna stir these around very easily. That simmer a minute. Okay, and then last but not least, add the green peppers. Probably reduce the heat just a little bit so these don't get overcooked. You kind of steam up a bit. We'll cover it, let it go maybe another 5 minutes. Okay, so it's pretty much done. Let it steam maybe another couple minutes. Got plates ready, and the last thing we'll do is we'll glaze it with a little bit of this Phillips pineapple sweet chili sauce. there's the final product. I said a little bit of the pineapple sweet and sour sauce just draised on top. There you have it.